Dear students, welcome to the fifth session on the chapter Final Accounts of Companies. Here in this session, I have taken up a question where we are going to prepare the balance sheet along with the relevant notes for 12 marks. Okay, let's see the question now. From the following information relating to Alembic Limited, prepare balance sheet as on 31st March 2014 in the prescribed form. Okay, so this question had been appeared in the exam during 2015 for 12 marks. So as I said in the previous session also, when you see this kind of question, you have to remember the format of balance sheet and you should be able to identify which item has to be written in which note number. Okay, so now let's find out. First, they have given the debit balances. Under that, the first item here is fixed asset. So there is a note number 11 for writing the fixed assets. So it should be shown in note number 11. Then investments, unless it is specifically mentioned, it is long-term investment. So you have to take that in note number 12. Okay. Then debtors, 12 in the sense it is non-current investments. Okay. Then we have debtors, it is trade receivables. It should be written in note number 18. Then loans and advances, unless it is specified, it is short-term loans and advances. You have to write that in note number 20. Then miscellaneous expenditure is a kind of fictitious asset. Okay, so you have to write that in other current assets in note number 21. Then you have profit and loss, which represent loss, so it should be taken in note number 2 under reserves and surplus. Then goodwill is a kind of fixed asset, intangible asset. You have to show that in note number 11. Then you have closing stock amounting to 14 lakh. Closing stock is nothing but it is inventories. You have to write in note number 17. Then cash and bank balance. We have note number 19 for writing the cash and cash equivalent. So you have to write there. Okay. Then they have given credit balances. First one is equity share capital. We have to show that in note number 1, that is under share capital. Then preference share capital also they have given 8 lakh. Again that should be shown under share capital note number 1. Then securities premium we have to show in note number 2, that is under reserves and surplus. Then they have given secured loans. It should be shown under long-term borrowings under note number 3. Bills payable, it is a trade payable. You have to show in note number 8. Then general reserve, it is note number 2 under reserves and surplus. Unsecured loans, again it is long-term borrowing. We have to show in note number 3. Creditors, it is trade payable. You have to show in note number 8. Then provision for taxation, it is for short term. So we have to write in note number 10. These are the informations given in the question. Now before we prepare the balance sheet, we have to show all these notes in the working note. So let's see the working note now. Coming to the first note, that is share capital. In note number 1, we are going to write preference share capital as well as the equity share capital, total of which comes to 18 lakh. Then second one, reserves and surplus. Under this, we are going to show general reserve, securities premium and profit and loss account loss balance. That is debit balance we are going to deduct. The remaining balance would be 36 lakh. Note number 3 is long-term borrowings. Under that, we are going to include secured loans and unsecured loans amounting to 21 lakh 10,000. Then note number 4 is deferred tax liabilities nil. Note number 5, other long-term liabilities nil. Note number 6, long-term provisions nil. Note number 7, short-term borrowings nil. Then note number 8, trade payables, where we are going to include creditors and bills payable amounting to 12 lakh 50,000 and 3 lakh. Total comes to 15 lakh 50,000. Note number 9 is other current liabilities nil. Note number 10, short-term provisions with the provision for taxation amounting to 2 lakh. Then note number 11, fixed assets, where we are going to write fixed assets amounting to 50 lakh and goodwill amounting to 3 lakh. Total comes to 53 lakh. Non-current investments amounting to investments. The next one, note number 13, that is deferred tax assets nil, long-term loans and advances nil, other current assets nil, then other non-current assets nil, then current investments nil. Note number 17 is inventories, where we are going to include closing stock amounting to 14 lakh. Then note number 18 is trade receivables amounting to 13 lakh 80,000. Next one is cash and cash equivalents, where we are going to write cash and bank balance 3 lakh 40,000. Short-term loans and advances amounting to 5 lakh 30,000. Other current assets, that is miscellaneous expenditure amounting to 60,000. So these are the various notes which we have to show before we prepare the format of balance sheet. Then we are going to prepare the format of balance sheet. On the top, we are going to write the name of the company, that is Alembic Limited, in the next line balance sheet as on 31st March 2014. In the particulars column, we have mainly two headings. The first one is equities and liabilities, then the second one is assets. This equities and liabilities, again it is subdivided into four. First one is shareholders funds. Under that we have three items. First one is share capital with note number 1. We get the total 18 lakh. Note number 2 is reserves and surplus. We have total of 36 lakh. There is one more item, money received against share warrants. That does not have any note number. Amount is also nil. The second subheading is share application money pending allotment. Again, it does not have any note number. Amount is also nil. No, third subheading is non-current liabilities. Under that we have long-term borrowings. Note number 3 with the total of 21 lakh 10,000. Then the next one is deferred tax liabilities. Note number 4 nil. Then other long-term liabilities. Note number 5 nil. Long-term provisions. Note number 6 nil. Then we have fourth subheading, that is current liabilities. Under that, note number 7 is short-term borrowings amounting to nil. Then trade payables 15 lakh 50,000. Other current liabilities, note number 9 nil. Then short-term provisions, note number 10 2 lakh. So when you take the total from 1 to 10, you get the total of 92 lakh 60,000. So that is the total of liabilities, equities and liabilities. Okay. Then the second major heading we have is assets. Under that, first one is non-current assets. Under that, first item is fixed assets with note number 11, which comes to 53 lakh. Non-current investment, note number 12, 2 lakh 50,000. Deferred tax assets, note number 13 nil. Then long-term loans and advances, note number 14 nil. Then next one, other current assets, note number 15 nil. Then we have next heading, that is current assets. Under that, note number 16 current investments nil. Inventories 14 lakh. Trade receivables 13 lakh 80,000. Cash and cash equivalent 3 lakh 40,000. Short term loans and advances 5 lakh 30,000. Other current assets 60,000. So when you take the total from note number 11 to note number 21, we get the total of 92 lakh 60,000. Nothing but that is the total of assets. Okay. So this is how we are going to prepare the balance sheet when all these items are given. So first work is to just identify which item has to be written in which note number. Then if you know the format, it is very easy to solve this kind of question. Okay. Let's take a few more questions in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.